Uh, Excellent. My main focus there is to connect farmers with different markets, including like social markets, because we are like I see a very good structure for gleaners here in the States, but we are a little bit different. But well, that's my main purpose.
Hi, my name is Pablo. I'm from Tijuana, Sinaloa, just crossing the border. And I'm the last part of the chain. So we take care of the last meal directly to the people in the streets and the shelters. And we just receive the food from these kind of people or private donors or main markets. And we prepare the food and we give it straight to the people, like warm plate every day.
So cleaning organization, food risk organization, transiciones agroecológicas, working with farmers for access to markets and social markets primarily, and kitchen distributing 3,500 meals a day in Tijuana with the support of Rescue Food. So one of the questions that I have and that we've talked about in our conversation is what can you say about how, from what you've learned today, what are the differences between sort of the concepts of cleaning and food rescue as it relates to your organization and how you're framing? What's unique about the program that you're running?
I think the problem of rescue direct coordinator, I think is with the volunteers, because the majority of them is the beneficiaries for the rehabilitation center, the families of the member of kitchen, and different other organizations that the voluntary assistance seniors or foreign people. And this program is the beneficiaries is the majority of them, and the other characteristic of this program is one coordinator and all activities is made by the volunteers from the rescue, transportation, delivering the food. All activities is making for the volunteers, by the volunteers.
And why is that unique in Mexico? Your program working with volunteers to go out and rescue food on farms. Do you know any other organizations that do this kind of work?
I don't know our organization like this because we rescued 2,000 tons in total, but those all of those tons is by the volunteers, and it's very difficult to do that with our characteristics by infrastructure and no human resources too much. And I think maybe there's no other like this.
There's unique amounts of philanthropy in Baja California. I think I heard that there's like more nonprofits in Baja California per capita than any other region in Mexico. But the sort of like unique community organizing, community value, and like all of the food being free is sort of a different way of doing sort of philanthropic food access and food distribution work. In Mexico, there are different kinds of programs, but generally speaking, there's a sense that dignity is created by the ability of the recipients of food to actually purchase and contribute, and it's called a cuota de recuperación. And so all of the food banks and the food pantries, like most of the programs operate where the customers go in and they contribute 20 pesos, 30 pesos to any food that they're receiving. And it is believed to be something that creates agency, where the men and women that come in to pay for this food at this very low rate also get to sort of demand, hey, where are the eggs? You said we were going to have eggs, and like there's just like more like an interactive community feeding the community and community champions. But in this particular case, I think there was a sense that also there needed to be another approach where it was more community-led and more volunteer-led, where the food was always free, and that's a very unique perspective, actually, in the context of like Mexico's food access and gleaning and food rescue landscape. And another innovative aspect is the work that you're doing with farmers, because you're not only supporting the farms in transitioning to agroecological practices of producing the food, but you're supporting with market development. And explain a little bit about that work.
Yeah, before it is doing enough.
Yes.
Yeah, before that, I would like to mention that we are located almost an island state. We are from Baja California, southwest Baja California, so we are very far from here. But the access and the amount of food that comes to the state is mainly from out of the state. Almost 80% of the food that comes from different states, and the logistics are very expensive. That being said, we have production in the state during winter season, because during the summer the heat is it's complicated. But the thing is, we are trying to connect, or we are trying to build this connection between fair markets, between the food access, the people that is having like problems to get it, and we are like trying to distribute this food for these people. But can you repeat the question, because
No, that's great. Thank you for the context. Yeah, and also just where do you see that as being a unique and innovative program that you're working on?
Oh, now with this context, sorry, I get lost for the question, but we are trying to focus in regenerate our soils. So it really, I mean, the impact is much bigger than, and with hunger is very important, but work more like more deep in the soil is very important, because the fruits that you're having has more nutrients, and the impact in the social impacts in the farmer is very important too, and also the strength on the markets, it's better. So I started this conversation with, we import more than 80% of the food, and this is what we are trying to do.
And so your approach is that with working with the farms, because Alianza para la Seguridad Alimentaria has a food bank that you work with, and sort of different programs working with food loss and waste. And you're in particular working with a set of farms around connecting them to markets, so you also can connect them to the food bank that is a part of the organization. But that program where you're helping the farmers sell into the baskets and the produce, can you explain a little bit?
Yeah, we are running a pilot with the food bank, which is they are donating some food to kids that are overweight, and we connect these producers that are implementing some agroecological transitions, and what they are doing something on their soils that promotes organic material and more regenerative agriculture, and as a consequence, better, more nutritious food. And we connect them with the food bank for donate this food to the people who really need, who in this case are kids that are underweight, and they are monitoring. You ask what we understand today, and definitely the thing with the data is super important for us, because we are monitoring and evaluating how this impact to the different people who are working with. And this one, I think, is the one of the most important problems that we are working, like connect this production that has these agroecological transitions with this program, this hunger program that is helping these kids that have this necessity.
So you made a strategic choice when, the kind of produce rescue from retail that was leading to a lot of rotten bananas and not a lot of variety at the food bank level. Instead of going out and trying to build a sort of produce rescue from farms, which did exist in the community and what Strider Proposal was doing, you thought, how can we support these farmers in their transition to ecological practices, purchasing their surplus and making free produce boxes for people at the food bank to extend that farm to table healthy food access.
Yes, and something that I really like, I'm very proud of it, is that this farmer did his production plan of crop plant or crop production plan to these boxes. I mean, to these people, to these kids, and it's very interesting because and it's very beautiful in the farm, from the farm perspective, because he is following like this, like the whole season. Okay, now I have, I don't know, zucchinis, but this month I'll have spinach. And this social market is open to receive and adapt the box and plan according to the season. And that's for a farmer, I don't know if they're a farmer here, but that's beautiful because it's, wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. So about the gleaning, the produce rescue, and the sort of on-farm direct to community with the community. And then what I would say sort of categorize more as like the gleaning on farm of like surplus management, supporting the farmer's bottom line and sort of building that into the sort of food for health programs of the food bank. And then Pablo, your answer to the question is sort of Tijuana Sinambe, a little bit of background on sort of like how that came to be, what the need is in Tijuana for these meals. Why are kitchens and meal programs the most important thing you could be doing right now? And how does the produce rescue and the future of their sort of gleaning program as they're developing it fit into that?
Well, one of the main things that we have in every big city is people on the streets, people in shelters, because there's house problems, drugs problems, and everything, and there's people needing food, right? So the founder of this foundation saw this thing happening, so he came out and started giving food to them, and everything starts rolling and growing. And then one day, Rodrigo came to me and said, like, there's another thing that you can do, and it's a great skill that these excellence of food that is getting thrown away and make better food for them. So we start doing these two works together and bring some approach from dignity to the people, treat them like they deserve, with a big, good plate of food. And right now, we're like giving at least one plate of food for 3,500 persons every day. It's 1 million meals by a year. So this is working really nice for us, and it's being helped by big organizations like ICF, This About Humanity, and right now I'm learning about this thing from them, to go to the farms and try to rescue things. We have this in Iowa, a little bit of olives, so we can start working in these projects, because we have this really good relationship with the schools and chefs and all of them. So we're trying to bring it down and make the gleaning of the olives and get some olive oil or whatever we can take from the ground and start working with them, right?
Absolutely. Thank you. And so the photographs, they're they're sort of in order. So you can just, in the next question, maybe have some of the PowerPoint. Ooh. maybe that one's blank. And that one's blank. Oh, okay. Well, I'll just give a little bit of a quick introduction to, sorry, yeah, I'll stay there for 1 second. Just to take a step back and say, International Community Foundation, Rodrigo is here in the audience, has been supporting a group of consultants that have been working together across the Baja Peninsula to identify the existing solutions to food loss and waste across key areas and pathways in our supply chain. We're looking at hospitality, we're looking at the organics, and we're looking at sort of different policy. And it's actually a really exciting moment in Mexico based on the kinds of policy that are being passed. There's a right to food, there's a circular economy law at the national level and at the statewide level at Baja California Sur as well. And so we're doing research around what is possible, and we're sort of choosing to do that in 4 key areas. Our mantra is data convene, pilot, document. And so by the end of this next year, we hope to have a sort of first draft to like what a regional roadmap to ending food loss and waste could look like. And some of these organizations, all of these organizations, of course, and others that we don't know yet, but that we are continuing to map will be represented. And so keep an eye out, stay tuned, because we're really excited about that work. And part of this, bringing organizations into this space to share with you sort of how things are happening across the border is like a really important sort of like cross-pollination of ideas, an opportunity to learn from your organizations and also sort of learn and exchange ideas. On the other hand, it's an opportunity to also say that like we, the US, have a direct impact on how Mexico's food system has developed. 77% of our fresh produce comes across the border from Mexico in the winter months to feed these communities. A lot of the food that you rescue comes from Mexico. A lot of the food that feeds communities across this area. And so to work with organizations and to share experiences, not just in like trying to address that food loss supply chain, but also in trying to actually build solutions that empower local communities to solve for their own sort of community food system security is super important. How do you see your organizations moving into the future, and talk a little bit about how you engage the community and engage volunteers in particular? Now we can do some photo of the future. First 3 years.
Yeah, the program maybe I think now is the time to grow, because for 8 years the program is working like similar functions with the donors and the network, social network, voluntaries, kitchen, Libertad Center, refuge families, a woman who take the food and deliver it to her house, and we made a social network, and I think today is the time changing, and I have to run. Maybe the substitution of more human research, and I don't know, maybe kind of have more ideas to apply to the program.
How do you work with the volunteers? What do you think the importance and the impact on the volunteers work with you?
Yeah. For example, the majority of them have a life with many problems, because for addiction, for the family, for our families, and these activities give their lives other kind of vision of the life. For example, when they go to the market to pursue the food in different parts, for example, in farms, fields, for them it's a different day. It's a day with naturalist context, everything, and I think it's very important for them.
Well, we are trying to work, because volunteering in the farms sometimes is not that easy, because we have to take them out of the city and social security. We were talking about it, so that is complicated. But we are trying to do is collaborate with universities that are that has these careers as agronomists and those kind of areas, and we are having conversations with them to invite them to work with us, covering what needs to be covered legally, because it's for younger people is sometimes complicated because they don't have a car, or they don't have money to move from one place to another, or they can be at the farm, etc. So what and we have been talking with these universities, and they accept to bring this information to the young generation, which is very important for farming also, and invite more, have more fresh minds and new ways to do things that combine very well with traditionals. And that's how we are coming or opening or volunteering, specifically for the program. And also we are looking for these young generations to learn more about the old generation because I think globally this farming thing is something like the old generation are believing, and that's how we're trying to do it. Yes, but now I'm very happy to share with you that 3 weeks ago we were on a pilot with a farmer that grows chile poblano. How do you call it? But they export from Todos Santos to here, and well, to Tijuana, and then here. But he was very interested in open like a social program. Like, okay, the food bank will come and will take the chile that I can sell. It's not like big amount. It's like 300 kilos, which is 150 pounds more or less. And he 600. I'm sorry, metrics. It's
terrible.
But well, 300 kilos more or less. And he was thinking, and these are the doors that we are knocking. Like, hey, are you a farmer that is focusing on produce and sale because it's the main way of living? Are you able to open these social markets for your workers? Like you receive a different kind of food. I don't know, the different kind of food that is donated through the bank, and as a pay or something like for you to donate. And we are trying to this to create these interactions, but we are very doing our baby steps. So, but it's happening. We are getting closer. Yeah, that's how we try to do it.
Pablo, your work with volunteers and how people can volunteer and how you work also across the border with San Diegans and Tijuana.
Yeah, we're lucky. We have a lot of volunteers, like students, friends. The best chefs in the city are helping us to make much better food with what we get. I always tell them, like, one day we get this peaches and on the cans, right? So these guys get nuggets and peaches, and they make it like this sweet chicken for the people in the street. And you might not know, but people who use drugs get something sweet, and it's amazing for them. So they was really happy trying this sweet chicken that they don't get it normally. So like in the first picture, you can see it. There's like 400 homeless that in December we see it, and we tell them, like, take a chair. Today we're gonna serve to you. You're gonna stay on the chair, not on the sidewalk, and it's your day. So we have a lot of volunteers giving a plate of food and these blankets for the winter, right? So that was the last year party for them. So at the same time, we have big families that came with kids from 7 years to older people, and those kids don't do much. Just to put all the package on the boxes or everything, just carry it inside of the kitchen and package it so they can come and see what's happening. Because at the end of the day, they go to the street and start spreading the plates to the people who's sitting, sleeping on the sidewalk, and they see what's happening. So we're opening something that breaking that bubble that they normally stay, right? And I can say that those kids are from really nice families that normally everybody trying to take it away from that things happening. So this is something that we do when we get a bunch of food. If we cannot cook it, like the bananas, we just put it there and people come and get it. Everything with that we give is totally free for them. We don't ask for nothing because we have a lot of people who's helping, right? So that's why the volunteers are like really, really happy to come and help us. And the big companies, the schools, whatever, they can really help.
Thank you. Just quickly, do you want to talk about a little bit of the opportunity that you just developed when we were in Ensenada together?
Oh yeah, we just went to Ensenada a couple of days ago, Monday, and we saw this company called the Cow. They use like I don't know, takes pallets of 500 kilos each pallet of small tomato cherry, and they use it as a compost. So for them, it's easier to get rid of them, put it like that, because it's just because the color, the size, or whatever, it doesn't work to sell it because the people don't want it like that. And for us, it works a lot. So we're just talking to them like, okay, this like legal way that we can give you a tax deducible, so you can give us the food and we can use it. We can give food with this, right? And at the same time, like with the volunteers, we got these cook school guys that can come and start practicing making these cans of whatever salsas. I don't know what they can do with the tomatoes, but we can use it and give them food or get money from them, right?
That was really interesting opening up that conversation and then they said, oh, tax section, oh yeah, we're interested, we'll do that. Yeah. Quite fine, you know? In addition to the fact that they were, you know, reviving their climate lab program, so it's an exciting opportunity. So we want to open it up to questions, and make sure that we have time. Just one, we have 5 minutes. So please, you're open to questions. Yeah. Yes.
Muchos de los programas de los Estados Unidos tienen problemas con incluir hispanohablantes y personas con historia familias hispánicas, porque en los Estados Unidos los hispánicos son trabajadores en las fincas y granjas durante el trabajo y ustedes tienen ideas en que nosotros pueden incluir hispanohablantes y personas de familias hispánicas en Gleaning en los Estados Unidos.
The question was, do you have ideas on how to bring more Hispanic families with Latin backgrounds, Spanish speakers into the Gleaning networks of the folks here in the room?
Well, for the Gleaning, pretty sure that thinking like a Mexican or Latin guy, that I'm pretty sure if you invite a Latin guy to come and clean, they're gonna help. But it's more the thing about the organization, their political rules, if they're gonna set the way they want, because for what I'm hearing here is like a lot of people ask for insurance or all this kind of payment, that things, but my concept of volunteering or their concept of volunteering is free. I can just scan and get the food and okay, you can use it right now. But for what I know here, a lot of volunteers are asking for something else, right? At least, well, that's what they told me. So I'm not sure why they don't accept the Latins. Right?
Yeah, I just think there's a lot of different models, and there is a membership model that somebody talked about earlier today where they pay for a share of the food. But generally, I don't think that's most of the cleaning organizations, and the ones that have to have the insurance are the nonprofits operating. So, anybody else have questions or thoughts?
Or ideas.
I'd love to hear a little bit about the International Community Foundation.
Sure, that's
Sorry. Thank you. My name is Rodrigo Gratiane. I joined the International Community Foundation in 2023. And the work that we do is support U.S. donors with interest in providing funds to grassroots nonprofits internationally. Along with that, we have 3 major programs, which are environmental protection, which is about 50% of the funding that we give to grassroots nonprofits in Latin America and the Caribbean. And then we do migration, as well as food systems, which is a program that I've been leading. And so food systems is a very holistic kind of approach where we're looking at issues with access to food, nutrition, food waste, which is something that we've been supporting recently. And then we're also doing a transition to regenerative practices. Some examples of programs that we've been supporting besides this roadmap and all of these organizations that we've been contributing to their work. There's one in particular where we're supporting migrant women in Tijuana that are interested in creating autonomy, not having to resort to the factory work that's available. And so they want to stay with their children. They don't want to land into organized crime, which they're in very vulnerable situations. And so we're providing them with the support to launch or structure a culinary entrepreneurial route. So those are some of the initiatives that we've been kind of supporting through the years. We're 30 years old, 35. We're based here in National City, and we mobilize about $1.3 million every month. So, thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that this is the first time that Mexico organizations have been represented at the International Gleaning Symposium, so we're very excited. Thank you for being here today. There's one question right here.
I was just wondering if in your country, if you have a law like we do about liability. You know what I'm talking about?
That's a very good question. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think so. The Good Samaritan law has actually never been used. It's like not been proven to work because nobody's actually sued, which also proves that it's okay to donate. But there is, on the other side of that, not on the liability side, there is now a law that is a circular economy law, which is, on the other hand, making it so that businesses and organizations and municipalities have to figure out what they're going to do about waste following circular economy. So I think that that's probably going to bring up some aspects of, okay, so what does that mean now for how do we start to protect businesses in a more organized way? Could be yes. What do you know?
There is a law that protects, it's in the health code, And there's a whole Harvard Food Policy Clinic document in Mexico that you can read, and has all of the initiatives that support food rescue in Mexico.
Hey, thank you so much.
Just have one quick question about graders or the people who go in the field or try to rescue food. As far as the liability is concerned for them, are they protected if they fall or anything like this? Do they have any rights to? I mean, you mentioned something that they cannot sue it like this. So do they have to sign anything? Did they just show up? And how does that process work?
So there's a protection for the donors. The ones that are in legal like limbo are the nonprofits that are actually like taking the food. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I just want to add that sometimes when we invite some of the people that want to do an activity, not just not just cleaning, they sign up responsible free something that a paper that means that we as non-governmental we don't have a work relationship. So it's something about the law, but we sometimes use it.
So,
Yeah.
so there's a
Thank you.